Welcome to Plugged In 10 Questions. This is Mr. J. I'm related to be here with Marcel P. Black, my brother from Oklahoma, via Baton Rouge, all that good stuff. We in the house, OKC, and we're just gonna sit here and asking these questions and get down to the business. So, first of all, how you feeling, my brother?
I'm alright, man. All my days and nights is messed up, and every day has about 46 hours. You know what I'm saying? Don't know what never know what time of day it is, but other than that, all is well, man. We at home, we safe. We got enough food, we got enough electronics, we got enough battery to keep everything afloat. So everything is well.
Definitely. Well, listen, you and I, we always talk about not only being artists, but just being responsible for our families, the children and everybody else as well. How is this whole situation either helping or any challenges coming with the whole parenting slash musicianship? How's that going right now?
As far as the kids, man, the kids are straight. You know what I'm saying? Like we being from Auburn, Oklahoma originally, we don't have a lot of family down here. You know what I'm saying? So we're kind of used to being self-contained in that capacity. You know what I'm saying? Just us four in the house with my wife and my two kids. So that's so us. Of course, they want to have play dates with their friends and be able to go to the park. But for the most part, you know what I'm saying? We're not, we don't always have a bunch of people at our house. We're not always at somebody else's house. So the kids, now, I mean, the sleep schedule is off for everybody. As far as touring, everything is pretty much like, I'm a, as far as being a musician, like, I'm a full-time touring artist.
Yeah.
And, talking between March and June, we're talking about 35 gigs missed. I had a 7 gigs in March, ranging from like from Arkansas to like Arizona. You know what I'm saying? I had my Midwest, because I dropped my album in November. You know what I'm saying? So I had it phased out to where, I did pretty much the Gulf Coast. I did the whole Gulf Coast and some of the Mid-South in the fall. And then, then you had the holidays, so I was going to hit them. I was going to do like Southwest and then kind of pepper in all the different places I didn't get in the South that I didn't get a chance to go to while I was on tour. The Midwest was for, the April was for the Midwest. So I had 11 shows in the Midwest for April. That's all pretty much gone. And I had, towards the end of the April, so it's, I don't know if you're familiar, it's a brother named A.D. Carson. If you remember about 4 or 5 years ago, he was on all the hip-hop blogs. He did his dissertation via hip-hop mixtape at the University of Virginia.
Okay.
And I met him in Charlottesville a couple of years ago, so he's essentially defended his dissertation, and now he's a professor teaching hip-hop at the University of Virginia. So we met, anyways, long story short, we became friends, and, good brother, he had added me to his syllabus. So I was supposed to have like a speaking engagement at University of Virginia. I'm supposed to do festivals. Right now, I'm supposed to be in Canada. You know what I'm saying? I'm supposed to be in Canada, and then do like my little so I had like some Mid-Atlantic, that I had my New England, Canada, and then so long story short, man, just lost a lot of gigs. We're talking 10 to 15 grand. You know what I'm saying? Factoring in off when we factor in these festivals, show guarantees, selling merch and things of that nature. All that's pretty much done. All that's pretty much done for. You know what I'm saying? Probably for the year, honestly. You know what I'm saying? So it had a major, major impact on what I do as an artist. Also in the midst of this, well, the day after I had to cancel everything, my father passed away. So that's kind of been that's been very difficult to deal with. It's funny because like I couldn't imagine, like, if the world was still open up and moving how it's supposed to go, I would have to cancel everything anyway. So
Right.
at least the world somewhat slowed down so I can grieve and not, miss out on opportunities that I wouldn't be able to deal with anyways, you know what I'm saying? But, so, yeah, it's just been it's been crazy, you know what I'm saying? I'm just taking it one day at a time, bro. Like, I've been talking to, like, a lot of my mentors, you know what I'm saying, who kind of gave me my wings and give me advice about touring. And we're all talking about, like, preparing of what is going to be on the other side, because it's probably not going to be the same. You know what I'm saying? Like venues opening back up. You know, you got 1,000 cap venues that are only letting 25% in. You know what I'm saying? So that's
You're not even breaking even.
Right, absolutely. So you're talking about, for one, the amount of fans that's not gonna be able to come out. You're talking about, so that's less merch sales, less ticket sales. Nobody's going to give you these big guarantees if they can't get the full capacity. I'm an underground rapper, so I do dive bars, 150 cap dive bars. So now we're doing 25% of that. You know what I'm saying? It's really, really small. And so, like, touring the way I did, being the main way I monetize my craft, that's gonna be, I don't know when it's gonna get back to that. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So it's just a lot to like try to transform during this time period.
Definitely. Well, your insight is pretty rich. One, our prayers and thoughts to your fam, for your father, because I understand that, that's a big deal. And, grieving is real. By me being a prevention specialist, I deal with that a lot on different levels and capacities, with school age kids all the way to adults. So, I'm with you on that. Everything you just said just kind of sparked another question that I have. Do you feel like right now, because as we speak, you're an independent artist and basically you control your own destiny, which is beautiful. We salute you for that, because, there's a lot of artists out here who make that attempt, but they're not as successful, or they don't really know how to navigate those waters. And then you got some established artists who's scared to navigate those waters because they're so used to, the old way of doing things. And so, you've been in this for a minute. Do you think right now, everybody, independent artists, midway independent artists who own labels, do you think everybody's pretty much on even ground when we're talking about gigs? We're talking about promotional performances, appearances, the merchandise, because we know major artists in these 360 deals, they weren't getting much money off merchandise and all those things that you're maximizing off of, anyway. So now, it seems like a lot, and I've had a lot of conversation with other artists and other people in the business where, they're trying to be more creative, or maybe going back to old ways of promoting themselves to sell merchandise. But you've been doing that. You've been doing that online, via the internet and your websites for years now, and you've been winning. So, do you think, probably it might be an uprise, or the tables might turn a little bit because of the situation now?
If you weren't doing nothing before, it's gonna be tight on you. You know what I'm saying? Like it's people who wasn't doing anything. Like it's all about fan base. So of course, like for me, an artist like myself, I don't get paid from any record label. You know what I'm saying? If I don't kill it, I don't eat it. You know what I'm saying? Like if I get paid by people buying tickets to see Marcel P. Black. I get paid from people buying CDs and merch. You know what I'm saying? Of course, I got all my paperwork in deck to get my royalties and things of that nature, publishing things of that nature, whatever. But a lot of artists wasn't doing that before, so it's gonna be tight on them now. Right now is definitely the time. See, one thing I always try to preach to people is fan base, right? So when you're signed to a major label, they're in charge of making sure that you stay connected to your fan base, right? And you still gotta work, right? I don't have anybody else in charge of me connecting with my fan base. So it's 100% on me, like it always has been. And I can tell you right now, I just put the Marcel P. Black and Friends compilation out. You know what I'm saying? When that was May 1st, so 30 days ago or whatever, and it sold well. It's a compilation of old music that's already been released, and it sold well in terms of physical CDs, digital downloads. You know what I'm saying? I put up these shirts right here. You know what I'm saying? I sold these shirts. You know what I'm saying? Quite a few. I put up the Black Experience flash drive, sold quite a few, and the face mask, which my wife is working on your order. You know what I'm saying? But pretty much this right here on the face mask is done well. And for a month that I lost pretty much all my gigs, while it didn't really come close to replacing the income, it gave me some type of income. But most importantly, like what artists have to do is understand that they have to give someone something worthy of supporting, right? So now is the time. Like you can't just put music out and think because you're a rapper or artist or singer or whatever you do, you can't just think because you make art that people are supposed to support it. So now is the time to be honing those people. I mean, honing your skills, giving people high quality content that people can support. Right now, of course, a person like Kendrick Lamar doesn't have to worry like I do, right? Because he has the machine behind him, otherworldly talent that when anything opens back up, that he can go do what he's gonna do, right? Beforehand, right?
Right.
So I don't think it changes the game as much as for those super duper superstar guys, as much as it does for us. You know what I'm saying? It's just like now, it's just like if we're fishermen, now all the lakes and waters are contaminated. So we got to figure out where we're gonna go fish now, or can we go fish again? You know what I'm saying? As to where, a person like Kendrick Lamar and Cardi B can go find any lake they want to, or they can go find any ocean they want to. You know what I'm saying? Because they have the access to what have you. So now don't get it twisted. Like what you're seeing is like those artists that are a little bit older. So I can't say the dude's last name. It might be Tim Einkel. He has a show where every week he has a podcast. It's pretty good. But what he's doing is having artists call in on his voicemail and kind of talk about what they've been doing during this pandemic. And people like Master Ace, Terminology, Buckshot from Black Moon, you know what I'm saying, like successful people, legends and things of that nature. These people who, they kind of, they had their prime in the maybe 80s, 90s, 2000s, but they still have legendary status. All of those guys are talking about the same things I'm talking about. They're talking about. They're talking about, man, I can't go to it, man. I can't sell my merch like I used to, man. I can't go this, that, and the third or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So so another thing too, like I want to say is Jadakiss, The Game, Cassidy, Dave East, artists like that, people that are like mainstream superstars, but they still have pretty big names or whatever. They're having this guy who represents them, not management, somebody who represents them, and he's going around pretty much, I'm not gonna say scamming, but he's sending out multiple posts to like up and coming rappers saying, I heard your music, I want you to pay for a slot of my mixtape.
One of those.
You know what I'm saying? I want you to pay a slot of my mixtape. And like they're really doing it. So 20 people are paying $500 to be on this mixtape that's on like livemixtapes.com or whatever, or topmixtapes.com or whatever. And it got exposed that like, these aren't these real rappers. And what's happening is these artists are allowing people to go get these like kind of, just legit money because they got bills to pay. Like a person like Cassidy, who's not signed to a label, but he had a really, really big run or whatever, he's not able to show whatever, so he's allowing people to go get this money for him. So it definitely is a crunch, you know what I'm saying? Like those artists who are too big kind of for the underground grind, but they're not big enough for the superstar grind, it's tight on them, bro.
Yeah, well, and that's who I was really referring to, because, Kendrick Lamar, he's like in the 1%. That's exceptional. But everybody else under there, has been people who got a lightweight buzz, people who on TV and they can't film the shows anymore. Everybody's on the same playing field now. And so I really feel like, guys like you in a good line of sight to really probably surpass some of those folks, or some of their fans actually start rolling with you or paying attention to guys like you, because you legit. Ain't no scams or schemes going on. And so that's really funny you mentioned that mixtape, because that reminds me of like 15 years ago, people doing that kind of stuff, just to, get on, or, you might get some milk or some listen. That's crazy. Man. So on a heavier note, because where we at right now, and the type of artist that you are, I mean, your resume speaks for itself. I always go through and just kind of just look at your catalog. And I know at one point, you were putting out EPs, but you got a bunch of LPs at this point, and the content is always spot on and relevant, especially to not only hip hop culture, but black people, brown people, people in the struggle. Because we're here in the United States, and I mean, no, these laws not fair. Okay, it ain't no secret. And even if people who live here and they don't realize it's clear, it's evident, and we keep seeing replays of previous events. And so, one, man, I just want to like commend you for you got the album with Sadie Roberts-Joseph picture on, as a cover. What inspired you to do that? Because she's a legend. Okay, honestly, if the murder wouldn't have occurred, she probably still be, going home.
Absolutely,
yeah. Just tell me about the background behind that, because that speaks volumes. As a rap artist who takes another person's picture and uses that for the cover, for the artwork. It's just a selfish act.
So, for me, the album you talk about in Search of the Black Messiah.
Right.
My breakout album, I don't know what project it was. So it might have been project number 9, I want to say. My album Cry Freedom.
You think that's a breakout album?
That's my first baby. Like that's Amila and Black Messiah and Lamar. You know what I mean? Like them was my babies. Like them was the ones. Those are the albums. Those are the albums that like I put everything into, and I feel like there was a lot of stuff going on by the time Cry Freedom dropped. The reason why, it dropped like 2.5 weeks after Sterling was lynched, and the timing, like I said, oh Lord, I can talk about that forever. But it coincided with what was going on with Black America. I say that, you know what I'm saying? With all the police killings and marching to protest or whatever. So that, but it's an incredible piece of work or whatever. But I originally started working on Cry Freedom the summer 2008.
Yeah.
And I didn't finish it until like maybe 2015. Like, going back and changing it, blah, 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 blah. By the time I finished Cry Freedom, it encapsulated a particular time period that didn't match my politics personally. Well, my politics had evolved personally. So, as it pertains to dealing with women, being a Black woman, you know what I'm saying? When I started Cry Freedom, I was still in college. I wasn't married. I didn't have any kids. By the time I dropped it, I had been married 7 years. You know what I'm saying? Wait, 6 years. Almost 6 years. You know what I'm saying? I had children by then. But the art didn't necessarily reflect that piece of me. And so, in tribute to Black women, the cover art has a Black woman fighting against the police or whatever. Right? Fast forward, I made sure on 7 that I included me talking, my more of my intersectional politics as it pertains to Black women, as it pertains to LGBTQs, as it pertains to people trying to immigrate to the United States. You know what I'm saying? People from Black, brown people from all across the diaspora. You know what I'm saying? So, I feel like when it came to In Search of the Black Messiah, I can't remember what I had originally for the artwork. I don't remember, but I wanted to, when she passed, I was on the road somewhere when she passed away, and originally I was driving going to the gym on Plank Road, and I saw the mural, and I took a picture of it. You know what I'm saying? I asked her, so it'd been a couple months after she had passed away, after she was murdered or what have you. I asked, first of all, I want to make it very clear, I talked to her son. I got permission from the family.
Right.
I asked him, would it be okay? I explained to him what the album was about, what I was trying to do. And even though the album is, I definitely am a Baton Rouge hip hop artist, but I don't make what sounds like typical Baton Rouge rap. And so I felt like for what I'm trying to accomplish as an artist, I still want to ground this in the city that created Marcel P. Black. So I wanted a Baton Rouge legend on it. And so, and also, we're talking about In Search of the Black Messiah. And anytime we think of God or we think of whatever, a savior, the first thing we think of is a man, right? And so this is for all the sisters out there, the little Black girls, you know what I'm saying, who think that they can't ever be the savior, the Messiah, the person to come back and save us. You know what I'm saying? We had one in our city.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So that was important that was important for me to do. You know, like her legacy. Like I met her, we're educators. We probably taken, tens and tens and tens and dozens of kids to her museum before, and she always opened her arms, gave us hugs, and you know what I'm saying. It was like going to see our auntie of our grandmother.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And she's an extremely sharp woman, extremely brilliant woman, good woman. She took care of the community in South Baton Rouge. Her son is an excellent young man. You know what I'm saying, Mr. Jason. And so, man, I asked him, could I, you know what I'm saying, use that? And he was okay with it. So the original one, it's funny, like the artwork that you see now, the original one was a picture of the mural that was painted.
Okay.
I didn't understand street art copyright laws. I didn't understand that.
Right.
And so I had to take the picture of the mural down because I didn't get the proper permission from the artist.
True.
Now I spoke to the artist, and we was in the process of working something out where I can use it. I was like, you know what, it's all good. One thing I'm not about to do, in the spirit of uplifting the black woman, is have anything close to where I'm trying to steal her art. I'm not. So what I did was I hired another black woman to, you know what I'm saying, recreate that image. Recreate the image, you know what I'm saying, with permission of the family. And like, it's also, like I said, the same thing with Cry Freedom. Like black women have consistently been the black race's number one protectors since they put us on the boats and brought them over here. You know what I'm saying? Like when black women were raped, they were pillaged, they were molested, they had their children taken away from them. They still stood strong. They never sold us out. They always took care of us. You know what I'm saying? Even post enslavement, chattel enslavement, black women have been on. You know what I'm saying? Still holding our families down while they put us in prisons and while they put us in graves. You know what I'm saying? So that's so I'm always when I would, if we talk about Black Lives Matter, it was started by black women. You know what I'm saying? It's in the spirit of your Fannie Lou Hamers and your Ida B. Wells and things of that nature. So anytime, you know what I'm saying, when we're talking about, you know what I'm saying, culture and art, especially, the different aspects of the black struggle, I will always make sure I use my position as a man with a voice to foreground and uplift black women.
Definitely. We appreciate that. Now, I mean, for the people who don't know, when we talk about Ms. Roberts, she's actually the founder and the curator of the African American Museum in Baton Rouge. And so, it's a big deal just because it's right outside of downtown. And so it's in the shadows of where laws get made and everything else. And, it's along the route where the Baton Rouge boycott actually took place and all of that. It was really touching, man, because when she died, I brought my kids down there. It was closed, but you can go down there and just kind of hang out and see what she got outside, and they were out there and they was having a good time and we were taking pictures and all that. And then, she's gone. And so it hit me hard, because like I said, I didn't see her that day. I've seen her in the past. And it's just one of those things where, like, man, like she's really a legend. And even for her not even being there, you could feel her spirit just in that whole vicinity. It's deep. How did your first time you took your kids over there? Like, how did they perceive everything? Like, what was their experience like?
So this was like, I guess it was back in the Big Buddy days, man. Working at Big Buddy, taking the kids over there, and they were just interested. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember, so we went to the, of course, we took them to Magnolia Mound. We took them to the African American History Museum out in Donaldsonville. You know what I'm saying? But I don't even think they realized that this actually, existed in Baton Rouge. You know what I'm saying? And so I think they like the state. The different states on the pillars outside, so they like that. They took pictures outside of that, and like some of the kids, you know how some of our kids get when they're on the field trip. Sometimes they get a little loose, you know what I mean? Get a little loose, and we try to make sure that they not run around tearing nothing up. Miss Sadie wasn't a big woman at all. She was a small woman or whatever, but she had such a big voice and a commanding presence that the most active child is gonna get on they don't get on their best behavior. Because she spoke with such elegance, grace, and authority. and when she spoke, she was an encyclopedia. So you know what I'm saying? A super duper sweet, intelligent, beautiful lady, and she spoke with such grace and intelligence, but authority, because she did a lot in the community in South Baton Rouge. You know what I'm saying? Like, she did a lot, like a lot of the young brothers on the corner. You know what I'm saying? She would go holler at them, try to get them together. Hey man, y'all move that over there. Y'all move it over here. We trying to have this safe for our neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? She did the work that she needed to do to contribute positive to our neighborhood or whatever. So the kids we took over there, different iterations from probably 2008 up until 2000. I'm trying to think the last time I went, maybe 2016, 17 or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They definitely respected her. They definitely enjoyed it. They were so surprised to hear about the Baton Rouge boycott. They learned about a lot of stuff in Baton Rouge they did not learn in the classroom, being part of, East Baton Rouge public school systems, charter schools as well, or what have you. So, I mean, it was always a good experience. And every time I went over there, I actually shot a video over there for, what song was it? It might have been People First. But as we were leaving, we saw that she had a sign that said, you can't post pictures and videos without my permission. And she wasn't there yet that day. And so we never put the video out or whatever. Out of respect for respect to wishes or whatever. But like I said, every time we went over, like I said, it's like talking to your auntie or your momo, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And just, going over, so it was always a good experience, man.
Definitely. Man, as we talk about just black women, I was on a call before I got with you, and we were just talking about the election and, what is it going to take, because it's basically a case of less of the two evils, if we're thinking about it. But, got to vote for somebody. We got to get the incumbent out. What role do you think the black woman's vote is going to, make in this upcoming election? Like, what is it going to take for our women to have confidence to, roll with the other guy? Because, we know.
Black women, to me, has always been the conscience of blackness, of black people. In politics as well. Black women always get it right. They always do. You know what I'm saying? It's odd knucklehead behind. And it's white women that we really got to worry about. Cause that's. And
we were talking about that too.
That's
Elaborate.
Because black women vote and they do things very selflessly. So they're gonna vote like they're gonna go out and march for the white feminists. You know what I'm saying? But the white feminists aren't gonna go out and vote for. They're not gonna go out and march for Sandra Bland. But you know what I'm saying? And so black women are going to vote for the good for everybody. Everybody. They're gonna care about the kids being kidnapped and put in cages at the borders. They're gonna care about the people convicted by COVID-19. They're gonna care about LGBTQ rights. They're gonna care about, the family of George Floyd. White women, a lot of times, they vote to make sure white supremacy stays in place. You know what I mean? So black women gonna get it right. I'm not worried about that at all. I'm not concerned. I think as black men, we have to make sure we do every single thing we can to make sure they're protected and respected. I'm not worried about that, like, at all. You know what I'm saying? If they talk about Stacey Abrams, and then they talk about not getting Stacey Abrams. They talk about vetting Amy Klobuchar, who's pretty much worthless or what have you. Black women still gonna vote for Joe Biden. Plain and simple. I don't think they'll never vote for Trump. They're not gonna vote green. They're gonna vote Democratic blue because they understand. Even though I personally don't think Biden. Like, when we talk about lesser of two evils, like, I don't think that's ever been more evident than now. You know what I'm saying? Like, Biden is. I don't think he's all mentally there. Biden treats black people. Biden seems like he only likes the black people who like him, who
what you gonna
defer
do?
to him, who defer to him as a powerful white man. Like, I watched the Breakfast Club interview with Charlamagne, and he was combative off the flap.
Yeah, he was on some. he was on some WWF stuff, and
Like he came in. Charlamagne was like, yeah, so Vice President Joe Biden, I've been critical of you in the past. You don't know me. Just like I've heard him like, come on, man. I was in the hood. I was in the like. You don't talk to your white peers like that. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I feel like I've thought about this and I haven't articulated it out loud. I feel like Biden, he's an old white man, right? And he's an old, almost 80-year-old white man. And so I think that he feels like he only likes black people who, like I said, defer to him as a leader, as a man with power. He's not gonna deal with any type of dissension or criticism. Like if he does, you know what I'm saying? He's gonna be on some, you Negroes should just be happy I did this, whatever. And I mean, so I don't wanna vote for Biden, but I can't vote for Trump. You know what I'm saying? And like I posted on Facebook like a couple of days ago. I love Obama. I was registered independent, voted for Obama twice. Even still, as a responsible citizen, I was critical of some of his policies. I dropped the project called Black President in 2011. The song still stands till today. But back then, this is what people weren't ready for somebody to be critical of the first black president, right? I said what I said, and I stand on everything I said. But I still got love for him. Hell, I vote for him a third term. And Obama would be sitting next to me in the van having this conversation. That's how real I think he is or whatever. But when you're the president of the leader of white supremacy, you kind of get what you get, black or white or whatever. Boom. 2017, I dropped a record called Hallelujah, which is a diss of all things Trump, all things alt-right, all things neo-Nazi, critical of, xenophobes, the homophobes, and Islamophobes, things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Boom. I can tell you right now, 2021, it may be Hallelujah Part 2, because Trump gonna get these bars. You know what I'm saying? Forever. You know what I mean? Or if Biden gets the nod, he gonna get these. So I gotta come up with something else to fill out the you know what I'm saying? The trilogy. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like Biden about to get these bars too. I don't think Biden, like, at the end of the day, there's a lot of things that I can pull critique on with Barack Obama, but I felt like he was a good man, and I felt like I could talk to him and he would care about what I got going on. You know what I'm saying? If nothing else, right? He would hear me out if he can help, he could, right? Just on a man-to-man type situation. Trump is a terrible human being, and I don't think Joe Biden is much either, right? I don't think he would like me being critical of him or having the type of political stances. And not only would he not like him, he would be disrespectful, and he would be hateful, you know what I'm saying, whatever. So Biden's going to get these bars too. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? And honestly, as much as I love Stacey Abrams and, I guess Kamala or whatever black woman they're trying to put up there, I almost was like, man, baby, I want to give you these bars too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want. Right. And the reason being, like, holler at me when Stacey Abrams could be president, because we know. I mean, we saw it when Barack Obama ran the first time. They tried to throw Sarah Palin up there. Well, they got a black guy, let's throw a woman up here. You know what I'm saying? And you saw that, she was terrible or whatever. And so she was nothing more than a prop. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. And Stacey Abrams is too intelligent. She's too strong. She's too graceful
to be a prop.
Like, people talk about like we think Michelle should run. Please don't put Auntie Michelle up there, man. Because I don't have to give Auntie Michelle no bars. I would have to, you know what I'm saying? Like, we love her so much. She means so much to us. But like, don't corrupt her. You know what I'm saying? By putting up there as a prop. Now, if you want to put her up there on the main ticket, okay, cool. But like I said, so it's crazy. For the first time since I've been able to vote, I am now a registered Democrat because I was trying to vote in the primary. But all the primaries is gone. But everybody dropped out, and primaries got canceled anyways due to COVID or whatever. But I'm definitely independent, not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. My politics for freedom for oppressed people, and so I'm going to lean towards whoever is tangibly doing something to bring freedom to oppressed people.
Definitely, I'm with you on that. I don't represent those parties, but I've just been thinking, man, over the last season with everything going on. I'm like, man, what would it take for somebody who's not only qualified, but to just get the push from everybody like us, because there's a lot of people who think like us. We don't care about the red, we don't care about the blue, because it's foolery. And for somebody to just come up and just take that thing, like, what I mean, what's the chance of that? It could happen, you know. Like I really want something like that to happen, because man, the options suck.
I think, you know what, man. So a part of me, and I'm not going to claim to be this far left, but I definitely study Rosa Clemente. I study Jared A. Ball, people of that like Cynthia McKinney, and they're pretty left. They're like black radical left or whatever. And I'm not gonna act like it. You know, I'm not gonna say I disagree with them. It's just that I'm not as well groomed to say I'm that far left. But I think black people, or I think poor people, or what have you, I think we need to start our own party. Like, I'm not gonna say what year, but I've definitely voted green before. That's when they had candidates that kind of aligned more with my personal politics. I think you know, Republicans ain't never gonna get no love from me. We have a very one-sided, uneven relationship. Black people have a very one-sided, unhealthy relationship with Democrats. And I think a part of it goes back to, you know, post. I think it's a remnant of our conditioning from slavery. In the sense that I feel like a lot of black folks feel that they're still waiting on that good white person to come save us. You know what I'm saying? Or they're still waiting for the system to do right to come save us, or what have you. You know what I mean?
That's not.
You know, I mean, I too was bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, and had you know, all this hope, you know, voting for Obama twice. You know what I'm saying? And I would do it again. But if nothing else, it just showed me how corrupt and unjust American government and American politics is. You know what I'm saying? That when this man who was I think a really good man had to get his hands dirty or do some things that, you know, might be against, you know, the best wishes of all people. You know what I'm saying? So you know, so I think, you know, so now I'm watching and I'm reading, and they're talking about black people need to get have an after party or another party or a separate party. The Green Party for the last couple of years has been kind of capped. You know what I mean? Like, so I ain't really, like, it's still, and it's funny because now, even when you're not dealing with so much racism, you know, they deal with a lot of sexism, you know what I'm saying? And patriarchy, white male patriarchy. And so the Green Party has kind of collapsed a little bit in terms of having those super progressive and revolutionary type of people on their ticket, or, you know, part of their party, what have you. So I think, honestly, Aubrey, I think that black people, poor people, or what have you, I think we need to start our own party, and we need to move with the battle of the bullet, like Malcolm X.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? Now, we had a situation where it's do or die. Because if we think Trump cut up the first 4 years, the last 4 years, he's going to go crazy.
Oh.
He gonna go crazy. He gonna go nuts. So we had a situation where it's do or die. To where, look, man, we might have to just go ahead and vote blue this time to make sure it don't get that bad.
Yeah,
now we're gonna have some problems with Joe Biden. We're gonna have some problems with Joe Biden, but we're gonna have to go ahead and give him this vote this time. This is one time. Please believe. I want Joe Biden to be a one. Like, if we can get Joe Biden to be a one-time president, and hopefully get somebody to challenge him on the Democratic stage for this thing, that would be great. I mean, that'd be the strategy in 2024 or whatever. But I think black people need to start our own party. I think, you know, so we talk about pooling our economic resources, pooling our land, our money, our housing, pooling everything, our intelligentsia, our intellectual properties. They're coming together and really starting a political party that works for us and really making sincere demands. We can't depend on, you know, however you want to say it, we can't depend on Puffy and Charlamagne to wait until July to June to make these statements. This needs to be our thing from day one.
Month.
With it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we need, it needs to be concerted. We can't wait on revolt. We need to have this. You know, one thing we can do is vote in local elections. That's one thing that early In my voting career, I didn't really know much about. I've been trying to be more active in voting local elections, kind of know what's going on, what have you. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. So I mean, it's I'm gonna keep it a buck. Like with Russian bots and ADOS and all these other type of situations or whatever, there's a lot of dissensions, there's a lot of divisiveness, and I think there's gonna be a lot of black people who refuse to vote for Joe Biden, and a lot of black people. There's gonna be some black people who do vote for Trump, and there's gonna be a lot of people who don't vote at all because they're falling victim to the propaganda. You know what I'm saying, perpetuated by these bots and purpose like division or whatever. So there's a high chance that Trump can run it back. We just got to be ready.
Definitely, man. The words of wisdom. Back to talk about Miss Sadie just a little bit, and the reason why, because soon after, the murder, there was some vandalism at the museum, which, right, I was definitely disappointed and upset about that because that's not what's up. And tying it back into, of course, we got the protests going on against the police and everything else in Minneapolis, burning and all that. And so, you got a lot of folks who, we don't agree with the actions of the police at all. That's wrong. It's cruel. It's a murder is a law, and that's a violation. And nobody deserves to be treated like that. But in response, we got a lot of cats out here, vandalizing and doing what they do. Unfortunately, a lot of black businesses are experiencing the vandalism and the looters too. And so it's like, we can't be tearing up our own stuff. Like that's just not how it's supposed to go down, all right, you burn down the police building, that's one, but the community, in which we live, we gotta look out for ourselves. How do you feel about all of that?
I feel a lot of different ways. I'm gonna say this. I'm always choosing humanity over profit. Number one. I'm always choosing humanity over profit. Number one. I think this happened as an amalgamation of a lot of different things. If you remember, about 2 or 3 years ago, Muslim, he was, So the thing about Minneapolis, they have a large immigrant and refugee population. So there was a black cop. He was a African immigrant. He was a black cop. He was a Muslim. He killed a white lady. He got sentenced 12 to 15 years. Shortly thereafter, Philando Castile dies in St. Paul. We saw what happens with that. You know what I'm saying? Now, Big Floyd gets murdered, and mind you, we have to understand that everybody's been on quarantine for the last 2 months. So people been in the house already anxious. So the city was all, because I've been talking to my rapper friends in Minnesota. The city was already like, man, look, because it's cold. It's always cold in Minnesota. It's always cold. Now we in the summer months. It feels good outside. We want to go outside, but we can't.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And now we see this happen, and it's so egregious. The way he got murdered was so egregious. So people go up. Now, this is how I feel. I'm not a marcher. I'm not a protester.
Right.
I can't say I wouldn't be a rioter. I can't promise you that if somebody touched my wife, my kid, my cousin, my parents, my grandmother, my best friend, I can't promise you I ain't going out here with Molotov cocktails. I can't. I'll look you in the eye and lie to you and tell you that I'll be a liar. If somebody, where I'm from on Comanche and Elm Street in Auburn, Oklahoma, if somebody shot one of my neighbors, where I used to hang out on the east side of Auburn, Oklahoma, if somebody was to, if a cop was to murder, or Trayvon Martin, or a Zimmerman type person was to murder somebody that's a pillar in my community that I love, like, my godmother, Mary Johnson. If somebody was to play with Mary Johnson, I can't promise you that I ain't going out there cutting up. You know what I'm saying? So, it's hard for me to condemn rioters.
Right.
I would be an absolute lie if I were to say that. Um, I think the history, like, I've been thinking about putting this on Facebook all day, but like, white people have definitely used the, rioting and looting as ways to seize power. Like, you have to look. I posted this on Facebook a couple of days ago. And about 2 weeks ago, I want to say in Michigan, armed white protesters in full military with masks and guns and vests and damn bombs or whatever.
They were up.
They went to the state capitol in Michigan and was like, yo, you got 24 hours to uplift this ban or we going up. You know what I'm saying? To the point that they had to shut down legislative sessions. And this is because you just want to go outside, right? And so it's hard for me to condemn oppressed, poor people of color for taking it to the streets when this isn't a temper tantrum because you didn't get your way. Like, white folks would literally tear up their downtown after a hockey game if they lose a championship or if they win a championship. In terms of looting, I look at it like this. Like, some of the same people calling people, first of all, look, I saw in Atlanta they were looting the Gucci store. Now, come on now. Like that's, I don't care about, I don't wear Gucci. I keep it Gucci, but I don't care about Gucci. You know what I'm saying? I don't care about that. I don't care about whatever, but I look at it like this, man. I look at it like this. I feel like I do know from my experience talking to my brothers and sisters that was in Ferguson, they're definitely agent provocateurs. So there's like CIA bots online, kind of like saying we need to go riot. There's people who are like U.S. intelligence agencies that are out here rioting too, and like kind of starting the stuff up. And when you get a bunch of angry kids, if somebody says knock that window out, it sounds like a great idea. But it's led by police, it's led by feds or whatever, things of that nature. So I really don't now. So I don't think people are burning up where they live at. Now I have a cousin that lives in Minneapolis, and what's happening is some of the homeless started to get looted. Now that's why I'm like, all right, hold up. I don't care about Target. I don't care about Starbucks. You know what I'm saying? I do have a little more deference for like the local mom and pop, you know what I'm saying, shops that are you know what I'm saying, owned by people of color that in the community. I give you that. But I don't care about the major, like I don't care about stuff like that, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But rioting and looting was literally how this country was built. You know what I'm saying? The Boston Tea Party, I'm from Oklahoma, the Tulsa Race Massacre, things of that nature. And those were, the Boston Tea Party was a political situation, right? Boom. The Tulsa Race Massacre was off of a false accusation. You know what I'm saying? And they burnt the whole city down. And Black Tulsa is still feeling it 100 years later. It'll be 100 years next year or whatever. So I think it's disingenuous when I hear white people who call us thugs and this, that, and the third, when they're literally stealing those stolen land that they wouldn't have if it wasn't looted, raped, and pillaged. You know what I'm saying? For me, I care about two things, man. I care about Black people getting their voices heard, and I care about us getting home safe. I care about us getting home safe. I care about us getting home safe. Like, if you got to defend yourself, defend yourself. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want to see nobody get hurt. That's my thing. I don't care about property. I don't care about police cars. I don't care about the White House. I don't care about the precinct. I don't care about none of that. I don't care about property. I care about my people getting home safe. So I feel a lot of different ways about it. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. Like,
I mean, and it's not just you. We all got lots of emotions, floating around. Lots of thoughts floating around because it's uneasy. You can't be cool. Even if you think you're cool, you can't be cool. Because things are popping off, and just like we feel a certain way, everybody else feels a certain way. And so, like I told a friend the other day, I was like, look, like for real, just prepare yourself. Just think, because when you step outside your house, you got some other folks, who might not be feeling you. And so it's like, all right, well, how you gonna react to that? It's wild right now. It's wild right now because people we're already on the edge, like you say, from the lockdown and everything else that's coming with that. and so issues still arise, and it's a
But
big
I think people are tired. I think, like I said, man, you have a lot of young, angry kids. You know what I'm saying? And and so I think for people like you who are men, who are fathers, I think it's more important now for us to step up and like step. Our kids are straight, but we know them young brothers on the corner that if pushed the wrong way, they going up. So it's important the way we circumvent this type of situations. That's why organizing and training is so good. You know what I'm saying? Like you know what I'm saying? Like, look, I'm with it. Like I'm a fan of spook that stepped by the door. You know what I'm saying? Like Dan Freeman came back and learned what he could to organize the young brothers in the streets. You know what I mean? So these young, so at the same time, for like a lot of these young dudes running wild, we can't condemn them, but we didn't do nothing to prepare them for the situation. You know what I'm saying? Of course, critique is everything, but right. we have not done our jobs. Like, I see this as rappers. Like, rappers my age had great examples of artists to maneuver through the industry. Rappers my age aren't doing the best job of teaching the next generation, and it's these are young black men. So like gang members, like I'm pro gang for the simple fact that like when the revolution goes down, I want all the Crips and Bloods and GDs and folk on my side with all the guns ready to go to war. But it got to be organized. It got to be structured. It got to be, you know what I'm saying? There has to be some type of political education, a revolutionary education, to where we're not in a situation to where we're doing things that's not going to be effective, A, and B, that's going to hurt our own selves or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, but at the end of the day, bro, this might really be the revolution. This because it's popping off in Louisville, in Atlanta, in LA, in Dallas, in Houston. Somebody went up to the White House, and the house, before you get to the actual White House, and wrote F Trump, you know what I'm saying, up on the thing. This might be the situation that we just don't see it yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, so at the end of the day, bro, it's like, like for me, I can't say don't riot and then praise and that turned in the same sentence. I can't say don't riot and then praise then Mark Vincent in the same sentence, right? So it's but it's so nuanced and it's so much to unpack. So for me, like I said, and the reason why I'm not going to, this is the last thing I'm going to say about it. The main reason why I'm not, one of the strong reasons why I'm not going to condemn rioting as worthless and pointless is because I don't care about what racist white folks think. I care about black freedom, I care about freedom for oppressed people, and I care about getting home safe. I don't care about how it's going to make me look to people who don't care about me in the first place. I don't. I don't. You know what I'm saying? And so let's take that out. For me, I feel like black folks, oppressed people, people of color, let's take that out of mind. Let's not, because trying to look good for white folks ain't never safe. This is not going to save you, right? So it might get to the point, well, we got to do what we got to do to get free. This may be it, it may not be it, or whatever. At the end of the day, I want people to get home safe. Like, that's it.
I like that. Now, look, man. I mean, some people view you as a conscious rapper. Some people view you as political. But it's like, man, the themes and the, I mean, every song that you drop is right on. Like, and so I know that the way you put your music together is unique, because when you do shows, you always have some people in there who never heard you before, but boy, they be amped up, because like, your lyrics hit their soul, and that, I'm not just talking about the beats, because the beats A1, but like, when an MC is ripping it and they speaking, it's almost like, Chuck D and them just came through the back door, except, it's in the form of you in the new age. And so it's like that breath of fresh air, and they just be like, man, we need that. We needed that. And I think that's what keeps your schedule full. That's what keeps you booked, because, I mean, I remember you talking about going up there to the New England states and rocking for just almost all white people. But the words speak. And so, and that's what's so beautiful about the music that you do. It's like, man, it gets you through some doors, and the people need that. Like, how does all that make you feel because of your stance, and then all of the new people who end up embracing you when it's all said and done?
That's the only way to do it, man. I'm 100%. So though, you know, my music is never it can be profane sometimes, never crass. But I'm a secular church boy, man. My dad's a gospel singer. I grew up in the church. My dad was a gospel musician. I watched him create art. Like I just, you know, my earliest memories were of him sitting at the end of his bed playing his guitar. You know what I'm saying? And then he had a yellow notepad he would write his lyrics on. And then he'd go down to so we had converted a garage into a den. He'd go down there, mess around on the guitar, mess around on the drums, mess around on the keys. And then he'd sing it into a microphone. And then he'd go to a church or somebody's community center and sing these lyrics. And then he would sell this music on the tape. And so I saw the process of being a creative. You know what I'm saying? I saw the process of being a businessman in terms of mixing and mastering and, you know, kind of being a one-man label, mixing and mastering, creating your own product, selling your own product. But most importantly, I saw from beginning to end, you created something from your heart and having something that touched people's souls. So though I'm not a gospel artist, though I might curse, though I might say the black woman is God, or blah, 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 at the end of the day, I still look at music as an extension of my ministry. Because everything is about freedom. Now, you know, my experiences, my parents' experience was different. You know, so they grew up in a different time, they grew up in a different culture, you know what I'm saying? But I'm always going to say something to lift somebody up. I'm always going to call out evil. I'm always going to, you know, condemn, you know, things that oppress us, right? Because I am a son of God. Because at the end of the day, it's about getting to heaven. It's about finding your own heaven on earth. It's about doing away with devilism. You know what I'm saying? So, it's my ministry, you know, and I've been blessed to have a career of being able to make the art that reflects who I am as a man. Because, like, the music comes from my experience. Yeah. I come from a small town, growing up in the church, but on right here you got the church, right here you got the crack house. And in between you got the streets, you got basketball, you got hip hop, you got, you know what I'm saying? So pulled in all these different directions. And then being a youth development work in Baton Rouge for the last 18 years. Like really being in the streets with, you know, I'm in the streets more than your average rapper because I am with the sons of the dope boys. Look, I'm with the sons of the dope boys.
Yeah.
I'm with the son. I'm with the sons of the kids who's in the fathers in prison. I'm helping out the widowed mothers. I'm helping out the dudes that these rappers talk about selling drugs to and got these women strung out. I'm in their household with their children. I'm in the streets with these kids. I've literally done counseling sessions in trap houses. I've done counseling sessions with people and like had them serve a junkie while I'm talking to them.
Right.
I'm in the streets. For real. Like I've been to community centers and neighborhoods where I didn't check before I went to go do a counseling session because they didn't recognize this man in his minivan.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying? So I'm really in the streets. You educated too.
Oh no, I know. You know,
exactly. So I'm really in the streets
together.
So from an aspect of, you know, my personal experiences and then my work, my job, I got a lot to talk about. I got a lot to say. You know what I mean? Because I see, like, you know, it's you know, I've the political aspect I've kind of more gotten into it in my adulthood because I really don't really pay attention. I historically I never really paid attention to local politics like that. I do more now. I listen to NPR all the time or whatever. But like, so I kind of hesitate at like saying political rapper because I can't tell you the legislative arm. You know, I don't know that. You know what I'm saying? The different branches of things of that nature. But I am in the hood. I'm in the streets, and I see the people that are most affected by what happens from a political standpoint. What happens in those good is how they affect these people or whatever. And so it informs my worldview and informs my music. You mix up my personal experiences or whatever, and that's what I got to talk about, right? So it's funny that you mentioned like in New England. Man, look, it's in Auburn. This is a whole other conversation. I have not figured this out yet. I have my theories, but as a pro-black, anti-white supremacist, you know, militant, left radical, conscious rapper, I almost always rap in front of all white folks. For some reason, our people, it's frustrating that I write all these rhymes about, in short, I make conscious rap for gang members. And I very rarely get to rap when Marcel P. Black does a concert or whatever. You know, of course, when I go to like Atlanta or Memphis or Jackson, you know what I'm saying, like super black cities, that's when I rap in front of black people. But for the most part, man, Indiana, Virginia, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Milwaukee, Portsmouth, New Hampshire, Portland, Maine. Like, I'm not seeing a lot of us. I'm not. You know what I'm saying? And I want to see more black people. I want to talk to the brother on the corner with dope in his pocket and a rag around his neck. That's what I write raps for. But I look at it as an opportunity to get on these stages in front of crowds who don't look like me and articulate what it is to be a black man in America and provide a different view, provide a different look at what it is to be black in America. Like, part of the reason why they love me up north so much is because to them, if you in Maine, bro, if you in New Hampshire, Delaware is the South to you. You know what I mean? So like me being from like I remember being in Vermont and just thinking like, man, I'm really 45 minutes from Canada. Like I can look out and see the Canada, you know what I'm saying? Like I can see it, you know what I'm saying? And so they have no idea. So like they're so fascinated when I tell them what it's like being in South Louisiana.
Deep South, right.
Deep South, deep racism. They don't see any black people up there. Mm-hmm. And so when I come up there, when they think Baton Rouge, they think Young Boy, Boosie, Webby Gates. When I come up here from Baton Rouge, representing Louisiana, representing the South, it's something they're like, man, this dude up here kicking these ballistics. I remember the first time I did a show in it was Champlain, Vermont, right outside of Burlington, Vermont. The cleanest city I've ever been to in my life. Like, bro, like you breathe the air, and the air feel like the air feel like you know that feeling you get when you drinking some Fiji water. It tastes clean. That's how the air was. Like I got really, really bad allergies. And so different seasons of different elements, like it'll clog my ears up where I can't hear. You know how your nose is stopped up? That's how my ears is. That might be the best I've heard and felt in years. You know what I'm saying? Because anyway, so I'm not in Champlain, Vermont. And I get booked. I didn't realize that I'm at a bowling alley. A bowling alley. They got people in there hard down bowling. You know what I'm saying? Hard down bowling, and they got a stage to the left, right? And I'm like, yo, I told Mr. Dude named Mr. Burns, named Scott. I said, Scott, I'm promoting 7 at this time. So 7 is like black. It's like my project, my set was a mixture of 7 and Crop Reaper, right? And I'm in an all ages show at a bowling alley in 45 minutes away from the Canadian border. Like literally, when I left Rhode Island, I didn't see another black people for 3 days. Plain and simple, I didn't see no black people, right? Boom. So I go up there, bro. I'm like, yo, man, like, you know what I do. Like, are you sure this is gonna go over well? You know what I'm saying? Like, how this gonna go? Like, man, look, you good. So I do the set that I have. I do Hallelujah. I do Cry Freedom. I do Stare and Whisper. I do Free Black People. I do these black ass songs, bro. And they love it.
Wow.
80 people in the bowling alley, right? Afterwards, I go to my merch table. I swear to God, bro, I had about 20 white dudes and white women, 20 white people. While I'm selling merch, we had a great conversation about race and politics and how they intersect, and hip hop. Yeah. And so I'm able to go, and I go by myself. I go by myself, and I say F Donald Trump, and I can back it up, intellectually, and his hands if you want. You know what I mean? But like I am able to go and articulate what it's like to be a black man in America. It's one of the things I learned from Killer Mike. When I did the Run the Jewel show, he gave me some pointers. He watched my set. I didn't realize he was watching. He told me, he said, look, man, if you're gonna talk shit about white folks, you're gonna be critical about white America. He was like, you can't go halfway with it. But what you got to do is make sure you put it in context.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, if you go up there and you seem like you chastise the white America, they're not gonna listen. But if you frame it in the way that you're just trying to articulate what you go through as a black man in America or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And then they'll receive you better, but then you're accomplishing your goal more. Now the goal isn't to make white people comfortable. The goal is, because I want you to be uncomfortable, because I don't live comfortable. The goal isn't to make me okay with white people and things of that nature, whatever. But my goal is always to educate and empower.
That's it.
So if I could say something that's going to make this white guy look at this brother on the streets differently when he got his pants sagging, if I could say something that's going to make this white guy pull out a camera phone and say something when he sees a black man getting arrested or getting pulled over, if I could say something that's going to trigger something in his mind the next time he hears a family member say something racist or sexist, you know, at the dinner table, like that's what I have to do. Yeah. Now, I want all the trappers at my shows. I want all the Bloods, the Crips, everybody. But for some reason, they don't show up. You know what I mean? But that's a whole other conversation.
Different conversation.
So what I like, so there's a dude who I did a show with up in he came to pretty much all my shows. The last one was in New England, and he asked me if he was like, if you were to have a band, what would it be called? I was like, I said I would either call, if it was a duo, my group would be called Pretty Ugly. I just loved it, Pretty Ugly. I said if I led a band, I would call it Dred Scott in the Negative 90s.
Oh.
He had no idea who Dred Scott was. So he does his research. He's like a 26-year-old white guy. He's from Maine. He lives in New Hampshire or whatever. He lives in New England, basically. So he went look up Dred Scott, hit me back. He was like, yo, this really happened? I'm like, man, it ain't no cap. Like, you know what I mean? And so he was like, I don't understand the Negative 90s situation. I said, well, go read up on W.E.B. Du Bois' Talented 10. He read up and started asking me questions. He was like, why the Negative 90s? And I broke down my critique of the Talented 10. I broke down, I put up almost Stokely Carmichael saying that black visibility is not black power. You know what I'm saying? And so I was able, just with that, I was able to educate him and make him more aware.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And so if that's what my job is gonna be, rather in front of all these white folks, I accept it. You know what I'm saying? And I guess the work that I do with brothers in the street in real life, that's gonna be that aspect of it.
Right.
Because like even though like I understand that a lot of my fan base is white. A lot of the fans who put their hands in everybody concert tickets, you know what I'm saying, put my name up in lights when I come to their city are white or whatever. You know what I mean? But I make rap music for conscious. I make conscious rap for gang members. You know what I'm saying? And so it just is what it is. I found a lane coming out of Baton Rouge that's pretty much untapped for artists coming out of Baton Rouge. And while at one point it was a hindrance to what you know what I'm saying, because everything was so different, I wouldn't change a thing. It was the best decision I ever made to just be me and not conform to what I see around me. And I've been blessed because of it.
Definitely. Well, I mean, you got to keep that up because we appreciate that. It's funny you say that with the education, because by me being in the classroom a lot, and I run a tutoring service, you know, I work with a lot of white kids. And so, you know, being around and learning, you know, their experience, many of them experiences a lot different, you know, than our black and brown kids. And so, you know, it's almost like you grow up in a bubble of unconsciousness because you just feel like this is just how it is. I had a guy in high school who I was tutoring one day, and this was about a year ago. He had a U.S. history class. And so he was frustrated because he was like, man, I don't know why I got to do this. Like, I don't understand it. I don't care about it. And so I took the opportunity to just let him know without going too far. I'm like, listen, man, I need you to engage and understand what we're about to, you know, encounter. Just because all this stuff that they want you to learn about, it actually directly affects everything we have going on right now. And so you don't understand it, but I can help you understand it, because if you really open up your eyes and see what's going on, I can't really do what you do. Not the same way, And so we took a journey for almost like 16 months. But, I had to sit him down and just let him know, like, nah, like, pretty much your white privilege has you in the comfort zone. But that ain't like that for everybody. And so, you got to look at the ancestors' faults and those events to really understand, like, well, this is why you are the way you are, and these other people having these issues. And so, yeah, it's big. And so I didn't realize that many kids grow up like that, and it's just like, all right. And like I said, he was almost out of school, bro. Like 16 years old. So I'm like, wow, you've gone through your whole career just thinking like this don't even matter. This can't.
You know what? It's like that bubble is real. Like, just think about it. Like, most white kids who aren't around black people, they learn about black people through hip hop, right? They learn about black people through hip hop, right? So like my man is up in New England, bro. I was in the city, bro. I can't remember what city it was. It was in Maine. It might have been in Maine, or whatever was in Maine. Like, this city had 0.11% black people.
Wow.
When I was in town, that meant I was the only nigga up. You know what I mean? Like they hear about all these different things through hip hop, through rap, through BET, through MTV, now streaming to YouTube, with that nature, whatever. And so some of them, I ain't gonna lie, some of them some of the most purest hip hop heads ever, or whatever. But even now, more than it used to be, it's like everything is on the internet. So you ain't even got to go to a hip hop show, especially now, since everybody's quarantined, we streaming. You ain't got to leave your house to see a full concert like you did before. So that's why it's even more important when I go out and I'm in front of these white crowds to go kick these ballistics so they can have these type of experiences. Because a lot of people, they literally judge black people, and black people do it too. But like they judge the merit of black people based off of entertainment. So it's either gonna be rappers, not actors, but specifically rappers, athletes, and whatever propaganda they put on Fox, right? Yeah. So like a lot of them haven't really been around real black people, and you know this, bro. I am really black. I'm black. I'm black. I'm black. I'm like this at work. I'm like this in board meetings. I'm like this when I rap. I am black. I ain't got a white voice. You know what I mean? I am black. But I take pride, and I take it. I know what I represent, and I take it very seriously. You understand what I'm saying? But so it's important that like whenever I'm with a white counterpart, a white friend, or whatever, like the first 3 or 4 conversations we have, I'm going to ask you conversations about whiteness, because I want to know. I'm not that colorblind. I'm way too black to be colorblind. You know what I mean? You see how black I am. Literally and figuratively, right? I want to know. I want to learn about your culture. If you're white and you're Irish, you're white and you're Russian, if you're white and Italian, if you're white Jewish, I want to know. I want to learn. I want to know all type of situations. And you ain't gonna have no choice but to learn about black. You know what I mean? When you're dealing with me, and that's what makes allies and accomplices. That's what makes that type of rainbow coalition to where we can come together, whatever. You know what I'm saying? If you're not willing to get down with that, and I can say this to Aubrey, I know I'm verbiose. I don't know how to say anything shortly. I can say this, Aubrey. I can say that, like, I'm always, I can tend to be a pessimist, and not so much a pessimist, but I'm always prepared for the worst case scenario. So I'm always prepared to go to Indiana and say, F Donald Trump, have to fight somebody if I got to.
Right.
Go to North Carolina. Go to Rhode Island. I've only had maybe 4, over the last 3 years since I've been doing Hallelujah, I've only maybe had 4 bad experiences because of me performing Hallelujah. We're talking about out of 200 shows, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And 2 of them were black people, because a lot of black folks scared of revolution, you know what I mean? Like, so when I'm doing Hallelujah, being too political in front of a hood crowd, they like, nah, we ain't trying to hear that, bro. You know what I mean? But It happened one time. I had a situation, and it wasn't so much. It wasn't even so much because of white people, but I had a situation in Asheville, North Carolina, that was kind of crazy. And when I was in Detroit, and I was in Indiana last year, one dude I said, "Yo, can I say up Donald Trump?" And one dude was like, "No." And so one of my guys who was with me, he was a military vet. He was like, "Well, he's gonna say it today, and this freedom of speech is gonna be protected." I'm a veteran. I'm like, "Okay, boom." You know what I mean? But other than that, like, I'm always pleasantly surprised, bro, that like when I go here and I'm the only black face in the crowd, how receptive that some of these white people are. And I'm not gonna say there aren't racist white people who enjoy hip hop. I'm not gonna say that at all.
Mm-hmm.
But for the people who really, really, really love hip hop, they have at least some base level of respect for black culture and black people.
Right.
And if nothing else, they will, if they agree or not, they give you space. They've given me space to articulate myself. That's been my experience, right? So like I said, they might post some crazy stuff on Facebook later, or have a pillow talk conversation later at home. But I've been to, in the last 4 years, I've done about 300 shows, and I've left everyone unscathed, and ain't nobody, whatever. So, by myself. And so it's always interesting. And I think that's important. Like, you go to a Dead Press show or a Public Enemy show, you don't really see that many of us in the crowd.
No.
You know what I'm saying? And so, it kind of gives me, to me, overall, it speaks to the power of how much of a cultural conduit hip hop can be.
Exactly.
Like this. So, and I'm not the type of people who say we all need to come together and we need to cater to white folks, have white folks on our side. I'm not saying that at all. Because if nothing else, I'm for oppressed people. You know what I'm saying? Black people. You know what I'm saying? Poor people, right? But if we can come together and do real work to help affect the conditions for oppressed people, I'm with you. If not, then we good. You go do what you got to do or whatever. And so, but it's always interesting to see those different types of reactions and the way things come to fruition. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's important. That's my role for me to play. Like Alfred goes out, he raps about tennis shoes and mental health. That's how he brings people together.
But you gotta have a cause, and that's what's important. Because
absolutely.
I can't respect rappers without a cause. Like that's
right.
You just
gotta be about
games.
something. You gotta be about something. They look at Alfred, they see the tennis shoes, they see the fly dress and the punchline, but they missing everything he's saying about mental health.
Yeah.
Well, not missing, but I'm not saying
they catch it later.
But like it's there. He's saying a lot. He's saying a whole lot about going through, and people connect to him. Like he said, people drive from Chicago all the way to New Orleans to come see his show because they had a white lady. I met her in Chicago too, but a white lady had a son who was schizophrenic, and she was touched so much by the beautiful that when he did a show in New Orleans, she drove all the way. It's a 45-year-old white lady drove all the way to New Orleans to see him, and that's what it's about. That's what it's about. That's what it's about, using the art form as a freedom of, to freely express yourself, to say something that can touch somebody's soul.
Definitely. I mean, that's like the biggest compliment over like money and all of it. Like when somebody who listens to your material and they like, man, I got a call from a guy who I came up with who got the new album. Dude was crying just because it wasn't really the music, but he was like, man, like, y'all should be on Revolt. Y'all should be on MTV. Like, people need to know because of all the false representations that's out here. That don't represent everybody. And so what we did was we hit him in the heart and we spoke for him because everybody can't rap and everybody can't do music. So on that note, I want you to, because we're gonna put up all the graphics and drop all the lines and all the website links. Tell people where they can get your music, where they can see your videos, just everything you got going on. Go ahead, spill it now.
All right, so MarcelPBlack.com. That's my website. The home base, MarcelPBlack.bandcamp.com. That's where you can watch videos, you can stream the music, you can buy the music, you can buy the CDs. You know what I'm saying? You can get the downloads. Like I said, you watch the videos, buy the merch. I can't say that enough. Buy the merch. You know what I'm saying?
One-stop shop.
One-stop shop. You know what I'm saying? MarcelPBlack.bandcamp.com. All social media Marcel P Black, Marcel P Black. That's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. And just I'm on my music. I would say almost half of my discography is on all streaming platforms. You know what I'm saying? Your Google Plays, your titles, your Apple Music, Spotify, iTunes, things of that nature. Um, and just just I'm old, so I'm on Facebook more than anything else. You know what I mean? I'm always running my mouth on Facebook. You know what I mean? But it's just I'm out here. You know what I'm saying? 6'4", 400 pound person, brother. Always wearing polo. So that's if you see that guy, that's me.
Fresh with it, fresh with it. Well, look, man, I appreciate you. With your intelligence, your kind words, your perspectives, because this has been important. Like it's funny because like I said, I'm in the middle of a bunch of interviews, but I had just a bunch of ideas that I wanted to discuss with you today, and I think we got through most of them. So that's love. That's love. And so you keep doing what you're doing, and make sure the family's good. And we're just gonna be prayerful that we get out of this so we can make some more moves. So yeah.
Absolutely, man. I already know I appreciate you as always, man. You always been the A1's a day one, man. So I really appreciate you. Thank you for reaching out to me. Anytime I get a chance to run my mouth, I'm always happy.
Oh yes, all day, all day. Just to remind the people, the plugged in is out now. All streaming platforms at this point. The Dialogue DiCaprio, Mr. J, and of course this show. We want to make sure that you share it on YouTube because we got a lot more content coming to you.